In the early to mid 20th century, if a man was feeling lonely, depressed, anxious, he didn't have a lot of options. A lot of times they would end up in mental institutions. And back then, they didn't have a lot of pharmaceutical solutions for you. So a lot of guys would end up with a lobotomy and perhaps even castrated. Today, when you're feeling lonely, a little depressed, a lot of guys enter a different institution. They get married. Now, you don't necessarily get the lobotomy or the castration, but you do get something very similar. A lot of men find they get emasculated. So today, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how marriage emasculates men and how women do it. I don't even do it intentionally. I think it's just a matter of who they are and the way they operate. And unless you do something about it, it'll happen to you. So let's talk about it. I think that women look at men in much the same way men look at classic cars. While they're dating us, they're just test driving, trying to see what's wrong, what needs to be fixed. They won't fix you during the test drive, obviously. They haven't got any investment yet. But once that ring goes on her finger, she's going to immediately go to work on trying to make all those little, rust spots and chips of paint and, those squeaks. She's going to try to fix all that. So you got to brace yourself, because if you're not experiencing it yet, it's coming. I guarantee it. If you've been married for any period of time, you have definitely recognized some of these things in your own life. What's ironic here is you marry a woman who says she loves you just the way you are. And from that point forward, as soon as you put that ring on her finger, she feels like she is now emboldened or, crowned with the ability to change everything about you. And of course, the irony at the end of the day is she's going to change so much about you that you're not going to be the man that she married. And then when she divorces you, you'll hear about that at the table with the lawyers. You're just not the guy I married. That's what you're going to hear. So let's talk about how women emasculate men in marriage. I think that you'll probably recognize a number of these things. Some of us just thought this is the way women were. And I think that's the case. I don't think this is like they are intentionally doing it, but I do think this is just like the way they're programmed, like the way they're created. I have found that the subtle things are the ones that have the biggest impact over time. For example, she focuses on what you're not doing rather than what you are doing. What I mean by that is, you're working 50 hours a week, you're bringing home a paycheck, you're working your ass off to make sure that you have the money to pay the mortgage and to keep everyone under roof. But you leave a dish in the sink, and all she can do is bitch about the fact that there's a dirty dish in the sink. What ends up happening after a while is you just stop worrying about the damn dishes, because there's nothing that you can do that's going to satisfy her. This is one of the most common, in fact, I would say this is a 100%er in almost every single marriage. The woman is focused so much on what you didn't do, she completely forgets about the things that you're doing every day to make her life better. She complains about your job like you're not literally sacrificing your entire life to help keep her and the family under a roof. And she acts like the job is in some way in competition with her, or is in some way not reflective enough on her. It's all about her at the end of the day. So either you're spending too much time there, you're not making enough money, the job sucks, or it's way too easy. It's always something. I remember when I was married, my wife would complain that my job was too close to home because I could come home for lunch, and I had it too easy, And because I had been there for so long, I wasn't really working very hard. And all of these things meant that I could be doing more at home. Yeah. Forget the fact that I'm bringing home tons and tons of money, that I'm stressing it out every day. I'm literally in a job that I hate so bad, I'm counting the days to the weekend into my next vacation every single year. Forget all that. Forget that. It's how it affects her that's most important. And her perspective or her thought about whatever I'm doing, her belief in what I'm doing, is completely off mark. She has no idea the level of stress or the amount of work that gets done and how difficult it is. But she feels for some reason emboldened to make a judgment, a subjective decision about what I do and how I do it. Yeah, you've probably experienced that. This next one is the one that gets you. This is the one that really makes you feel like you've lost your masculinity. It's in your face, it's cold, it's like a steel knife that runs through you. When she decides that she doesn't want to have sex with you anymore. Yeah. Is there a more powerful indictment and condemnation of a man at his core? The thing that women don't get is that men see sex as more than just a physical release of energy. We see it as an opportunity to be intimate and to express ourselves in a way that we cannot under almost any other circumstances. There's an opportunity for closeness and intimacy that is the foundation of our marriage. And once that sex ends, for most men, that marriage is over. And most women do not get it. They think that they are performing some kind of a, I don't know, like they're doing us a favor or something. I think what it is women see sex as a way to get what they want. They see it as a path to achieving things. So they use sex to get you in the door. They use sex to get you to marry them. They use sex to get children. But when it comes down to maintaining their relationship, they don't understand that sex is at the core of it. And without sex, there is no relationship. But the impact that it has on men, when you hear from your wife that she doesn't want to have sex with you, well, it's hard not to feel like you're less of a man. It's hard not to feel like you failed. You failed as a man. And yeah, that's probably one of the most emasculating things. I remember my wife telling me, I think of you more like a brother. Like, what? What? When was the last time you had a brother, number one? Number two, you've been screwing your brother? Like your imaginary brother? Like, what the hell? You know? It's like, they have this image in their head of what a romantic relationship is supposed to be. And of course, when you're living day-to-day life and you've got to pay bills and you've got to deal with children and you've got to deal with houses and cars, well, it's really tough to be that Prince Charming, you know? It's really hard when you're all covered with grass and grease or whatever, or you just want to sit on the couch at the end of a long week and watch your favorite show to look like Prince Charming, you know? And so they think that sex is in some way about them getting that. And, you know, again, it goes back to them thinking the world is all about them and not how it affects other people around them. I think that's probably the core of the problem. But the collateral damage that you're experiencing in terms of your masculinity or your emasculation is profound. It's profound. Now this one's never happened to me, but I've seen it happen to other men, and I've heard about it from some of the guys I coach, is getting corrected in public in front of your friends at a social event, where she will correct your English, or she'll correct your memory of something, or she will just interject in some kind of way to show that she is in this, I don't know, like teacher/parent role over you. And the last thing you need from your wife is for her to suddenly turn into your mother, you know? And I think that happens in a lot of cases where guys are constantly being henpecked or being corrected in front of their friends, family, whatever, at social events, or even just out in public, like at the movie theater or at dinner. And you're there in front of the waiter and she's correcting your order based on what she thinks that you want or don't want. I mean, yeah, that's just not acceptable under any circumstances. Hearing about how good her life was before she met you. Oh, that's a classic. So my ex-wife was a Broadway dancer, and she traveled the world, and she had, you know, all these very wonderful experiences. And she had some pretty interesting boyfriends too. And so inevitably, whenever these topics come up, it's not just about, oh, I lived in Monte Carlo for, you know, a year overlooking the water. I had a boyfriend in Paris, and yeah, he was so big. Yeah, it's like, ooh, that's not what I want to hear. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not bringing us closer together. It's fine that that happened. It's a long time ago. You don't need to bring it into our bedroom. You know, I don't need to know that this guy was some kind of a genetic freak and that, yeah, I just don't even want to hear about it. Even just thinking about it makes me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit. But yeah, that's an emasculating experience. It's hard then, like if you're, you know, having pillow talk to suddenly, you know, start going to town, you know, no. You just want to go downstairs and forget you ever heard that, you know. Go for a walk, watch TV, take a shower, something. You just want to get away from that because, yeah, that's one of the most emasculating experiences you can have. I could go on and on and on about these things. There's just so many of them. If you're not sure you're experiencing this in your marriage, there's a simple test that you can run for yourself. Just for 1 week, write down on a notepad every compliment or criticism that you receive over the course of that week. I guarantee you, you will have page after page after page of criticisms, and you might have, if you're lucky, a few compliments. And some of these are just comments that you're gonna have to stretch into a compliment. Like, oh, you smell nice today. Yeah, I guess that kind of goes as a compliment, but she bought you the cologne. So I'm not sure. I'm just not sure if that counts. Now, like I said in the beginning, I'm not so sure that women do this intentionally. I think it's just the way they're made. And having a man as a arts and crafts project is sort of like a dream come true to them. They just don't have any idea the depth of the impact that they're having on your masculinity. They are literally making you into their baby doll. I remember my sister used to have, you know, dolls, and she had a Ken doll and a Barbie doll, and they had like the Barbie camper and the whole thing. And I think that marriage is sort of just like a grown-up version of that for them, where they are now playing house, and you're playing the role of Ken. And because Ken is just a doll without any, you know, animation, she's going to animate Ken for him. And you are now being animated on behalf of your wife or by your wife. So, if this is happening to you, you're gonna have to have a serious conversation, and you're gonna have to set up some extreme boundaries so that she gets, I don't want to say reprimanded, but reminded every single time she makes one of these mistakes, or she is crossing that line from supportive partner to manipulative bitch. You know what I mean? I think she doesn't realize that that's happening. She doesn't realize that she's crossing that line, but they do it almost automatically. All right, you guys, that's all I got for you today. I certainly hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please like and subscribe. If you know a married guy, or even a guy just in a long-term relationship who's going through something like this, please feel free to share this with them. I think that the more men who get this information in their hands, the more lives we're going to save. I wish I had known this stuff before I got married. I had to go through the university of a bad marriage to gather all these facts for you. Please do not waste my sacrifice. All right, you guys, that's it. Stay healthy, and if you can, stay single.